Donald Trump, like all the rest of them, takes bribes from drug companies. So, sorry, campaign contributions. These politicians are not the best of us. They're the worst of us.
This week, an Axios report revealed that Republicans in Congress are scheming to make Americans pay more for their medication. This is as one of the loudest things voters have been screaming for years, is that we want more affordable health care and that we don't really trust big pharma. It's nice to know that they're listening. So how and why are they going to do what they're trying to do? We're going to start with the how. During Joe Biden's term as president, he successfully made pharmaceutical companies negotiate the prices of 10 drugs for seniors on Medicare specifically. So in addition to these discounted prices, starting next year, Medicare patients won't pay any more than $2,000 for out of pocket for prescription drugs covered under Medicare Part D. According to the Biden administration, here is how much the negotiations are going to save consumers and Medicare. They said American taxpayers are expected to save $6 billion on prescription drug costs, and people enrolled in Medicare are expected to save $1.5 billion in out-of-pocket costs in 2026 alone. And that is not all. The Congressional Budget Office has estimated that the negotiation program will save Medicare $100 billion over a decade. Additionally, Medicare will be able to negotiate the prices of other drugs in the years to come, which all sounds great, doesn't it? It's what the people have been asking for, isn't it? Well, I'll tell you who doesn't think so. Congressional Republicans do not think so. They are now vowing to do away with Medicare's ability to negotiate prices. Senator Mike Crapo, Republican from Idaho, said, I would try to remove that and replace it, but I can't tell you the exact, what it would be yet. This is kind of like the last story where they don't have plans. There's more. This is reporting from Axios. Senator Tom Tillis, Republican from North Carolina, said that he's 100% wants to repeal the negotiation provisions, while other drug pricing sections of the law would need to be evaluated based on whether they have a positive impact on business. There it is. Also, Representative Buddy Carter, a Republican from Georgia, said the IRA drug pricing provisions are the worst legislation I've ever witnessed in 10 years in Congress and 10 years in the state legislature, and he absolutely wants to repeal them. Okay, so in other words, none of the Republicans that spoke to Axios want to keep drug prices low. All right, I said I would give you the why, though I'm sure you've already put it together on your own. This is from Open Secrets. It says, pharmaceutical and health product companies poured over a record $372 million into lobbying Congress and federal agencies in 2022, outspending every other industry and making up over half of all health sector lobbying efforts. The industry lobbying efforts were focused on the Inflation Reduction Act, or the IRA, aka the bill that gave Medicare the ability to negotiate drug costs. So, Cenk, it's the same old, it's getting a little tired. The American people have to suffer financially, they have to suffer from poor health, and in some cases they have to die because it's better for business and because it lines our politicians' pockets. Is that it? Is that what I'm getting from this?
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it. Yeah, 100%. There's a reason we read you all those discounts, and I'm going to explain that in a second. First, just if you're unfamiliar with the law here in America, it is unbelievable. So in any other country that has capitalism, you can obviously negotiate prices on any goods, right? So if you're a large buyer, let's say you're Walmart and you're buying a whole bunch of notebooks for back to school, you can negotiate with the people who produce notebooks or cereal, etc. Now, the government's a huge buyer of different materials and they're allowed to negotiate prices on everything except one thing, which is one of the most expensive in the country, which is drugs. We're not allowed to negotiate with the drug companies. Now, that is the most insane law that anybody's ever passed. So then what do? The drug companies just come in and go, this is the price you must pay. And then the American people have to pay it. That is just as insane as it sounds. That is what peak corruption looks like. Now, the Republican explanation for it is hilarious. and including Trump saying the exact opposite of what reality is, of course, as usual. But I'll get to that in a second. But first, let's start with the Democrats, because this is good cop, bad cop, right? I told you pharmaceutical companies are the #1 donors, and there we just showed it to you. So you know how we get animated about AIPAC and how they easily bought almost all of Congress. Well, they spent $100 million in this election cycle, or at least that's what they're planning to spend according to them and other allied groups. Big Pharma is spending $372 million, a much, much larger amount. So they get to buy all of Congress. So now the Democrats say, well, are you kidding me? We're American heroes. We negotiated one drug price. Wow. Now it's an important drug, insulin, and I'm glad that they brought it down. I'll take it one over nothing. But then the rest of the press does propaganda. Oh, the drug prices have been negotiated. Wait a minute, there's 10,000 drugs that haven't been negotiated. The one drug's a cover story. And now they've made it 10, like they're like, oh, by 2016 it's going to get to 10. And Kamala Harris is talking about other drugs that are starting to come down the pike. Now it's true, we can get up to 10 drugs that we're allowed to have a free market on. Every other drug, they say, this is what you're paying. Now look at the one that was Enbrel in the last graphic about psoriasis, $2,355, 67% discount. So what does that mean? That means they were charging an extra $5,000 because they could, because the US government must pay whatever price they set. Now they did these negotiations on these 10 drugs, they get the price down 67%. That company is still producing that drug and still making a really good profit after a 67% price reduction. That means the extra 67% was just a robbery. Okay, so now the Republicans come in and go, Democrats, how dare you? Negotiating 10 drug prices? No, we hate free markets. We hate capitalism. We demand that you pay whatever they tell you to pay. American taxpayers, pay for it. Bring them back up. Bring them. Are they going to get rid of these discounts? Even though we all know that the companies make a profit, a really good profit at these lower numbers, the Republicans go, no, bring back the higher numbers. Bring it back up 79%, up 67%. Let's pay $5,000 extra for a drug we know we don't have to pay. Then you ask them, why would you do something so anti-free market, so anti-logic, anti-sense, etc.? Now you know the real answer is because they got bribed to do it. We just showed you they're bribing. You think that the big drug companies spent $372 million on American politicians for their health or your health? No, that's called a bribe. Okay, so technically it's a campaign contribution, and in America we have legalized bribes. But if you ask mainstream media, they're like, what? No, I thought they were just like, they already agreed that drug prices should be the highest in the world by a lot. And that's why the drug companies gave them $372 million, because they philosophically agree. Okay, if you're a mainstream media reporter and have very, very, very low IQ, that's what you say. Of course, they're all lying. That's the real answer. So, but now back to the absurdities of the Republicans. So we should not negotiate any drug prices according to these criminals. Okay, one of the reasons they say is because it's if they have to make just a normal giant profit, quote, it'll destroy research and development. But wait a minute, people pay much lower prices than even the ones we negotiated on just these 10 rinky-dink drugs. All across the world, they pay way lower in Canada, France, etc., and they have plenty of research and development. In fact, the first vaccine was developed in Germany, but they pay way, 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 way less than we do because they didn't legalize bribery. So what happened? They seem to have the research and development anyway. And by the way, if you don't know this, the American taxpayers pay for most of the research and development. It happens at universities, and then whatever they come up with, we just give free to the criminals who bribed our politicians. And then finally, Trump's statement, he said he's against this because he wants to improve competition in the marketplace. But wait, this removes competition in the marketplace. You can't compete on price anymore because the government says you're not allowed to compete on price. There's no competition at all. You must accept what our donors set as the price. How's that increasing competition? It's the exact opposite. But it doesn't matter because Donald Trump, like all the rest of them, takes bribes from drug companies. So, sorry, campaign contributions. These politicians are not the best of us. They're the worst of us. They're the lowest people in America. They have no shame at all. They'll take a bribe and sell you out in a flat second.
Yeah, it's like everything you said. It's the free market fallacy, right? We can pretend that we have these free markets, but the government is constantly interfering, either directly through legislation or indirectly by allowing pharmaceutical companies to exploit its buyers with little to no consequences. And in this case, it's particularly egregious because the buyers happen to be desperate people who don't have competitors to turn to. If they don't get this, there's not a whole lot for them to do. There's not, like, they could die, they could just live with this chronic illness that there is a solution to, and they just don't have access to it. And it's really, really sad because it's so unnecessary and it's all driven by greed. And, we finally have a president who did something about it, tried to make it a little bit easier on people, a little bit easier on their pocketbooks. It's also bad for the economy when people don't have all this cash to spend and put into it. But, now the Republicans are saying that's a really bad thing that he did because it doesn't benefit me and it doesn't benefit these people that I am beholden to. So, Cenk, I know we're running out of time, so I'll leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. But in the bonus episode for the members, Donald Trump has a new scam where it's not even campaign contributions. The money goes straight into his pocket. And then he can't believe that Melania might like him. I mean, the quotes are hilarious, let alone his new diatribe about how women will finally feel safe and secure and respected under the Trump presidency. Okay, tyt.com/team. We'll have the link below. Become a member, get the bonus episode. We'll see you there. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.